Never forget it. It was cold, and I was hurting real bad. And I remember hearing somebody screaming at me, and I kind of turned around, and over my shoulder, there was a guy standing there looking at me, pointing at me. He was like, "Taliban, Taliban." So I swung around with my rifle, and then all of a sudden, behind me again, I could hear someone screaming at me. And I look up, and there's this guy standing on the hill that I'd just fallen off of. But he didn't have a weapon. He was just pointing at me. And then there were some guys on the ridgeline moving around. They had weapons. I saw them. So I turned back around, and I kind of started to crawl. I was like, man, I was in a channelized area. It was kind of bad. And I remember I was leaning against this rock. I was sitting on my butt. I had my rifle in my hand. I was breathing. I couldn't breathe. I'd bitten my tongue in half, and I was like, that's a crazy story. But the guy screamed at me again. I turned around to shoot, and he saw me. He ducked behind this rock, and then right over my left shoulder, probably 30 yards, not even that. I hear, "American, American." And I kind of turned around, and it was Gula, one of the main villagers who rescued me. And I turned around on him. I had my gun at my hip. My safety was off. My tension was out of my trigger. And he was kind of looking. We were staring each other straight in the eyes. And I was like death. You know how you can smell death when it's there? I was like, man, okay, let's go. And I don't know why they killed him. I don't know why they killed him. I didn't have to even go to my shoulder to kill him. I had the tension out of my trigger. I was just sitting there looking at him. He was looking at me, and he wouldn't say it. He said American a couple times, and then he said it again. I was like, Taliban? And he was like, American? And then he kind of put his hands up, and I came off my trigger. I don't know why I didn't kill him. And he started walking down on me. He's like, okay. Shampoo, hydrate. That's what he's telling me, shampoo, hydrate.
Shampoo, hydrate?
That's what he said. 2 English words he knew. I was like, shampoo, hydrate. You know how good that sounded? I was like, bro, I would love some water, and if you want to wash my hair. It's so funny. So if you ever get into a bad situation and you're about to lose your mind, just say shampoo and hydrate, and you'll be fine, dude. And I'm like, can you believe that? That's what he said to me.
That's crazy.
And I dropped my muzzle down, and he walked up on me, and I pulled a grenade out. I pulled the pin.
Who is that? Do you see what I have? I'll fucking kill you. I'll fucking kill you. Is he Taliban? Who's that? Is he Taliban? Is he Taliban?
Me up, stopped my bleeding, patched me up, gave me all the water I could drink, and then the Taliban came in after that and snatched me up.
So how much of what was in the script, I know you didn't see the movie, but how much of what was in the script was accurate?
Every bit of it. Everybody died. Like in the movie, when you see those guys falling down a mountain, it looks cool. Imagine going past cool to when it looks like chaos. Imagine playing your favorite sport on the side of a mountain with people shooting at you.
It didn't look cool.
I was like, it
looked horrific.
Sexy. It was terrible. Cause it get ripped apart. And we would come in, and the guys would just be like, Matt was shot in the face. His eyes were gone. Like, I'm the medic. Some of them were bad. And, I didn't know what to do. I never knew what to do. Isn't that crazy? I was like, man, I'm well trained. I got my ass in a pickle. I couldn't get out. I didn't know what to do. And I would just sit there. And there'd be times when I would think about my brother and all my buddies. I was like, hey, man, you guys are done. And then I could see aircraft flying overhead, and I was like, I'm right here. And they would just keep flying. And then someone would try to kill me. Like a wall would blow up, or a bullet would zip through the wall. And then they'd have to move me. Man, it was a hell of a week. It was rough. They left me in this hole for a while. They buried me. And I was like, man, I'm a foreign man in a foreign land. Everybody's dead. And who knows where I'm at? I was in hell. I was literally in hell. And if it wasn't for them, and the way that whole thing worked out, it's funny when I talk about it. It's hard to wrap your head around it, right? Like, man, why am I even sitting here? Because y'all came and got me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when y'all showed up. I signed up to be an expendable asset, to die if necessary. That was the sexiest thing I ever heard of. I was nobody. I have a special skill. I was expendable asset, and you work till you become dependable, and they'll kind of keep you around. So when y'all showed up, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I remember talking to the guys like, man, I can't believe y'all made it out here. We were out in the middle of nowhere. And then the first time I ever got like scared was when they were with me, trying to get me out of there. I was like, hey man, I hope y'all can get me out of here. Is that selfish? I was like, man, I hope that's not selfish, is it? I was like, I sure would like to live, man. And they threw, I mean, it was a crate to get me out of there. It's a whole different movie altogether. Those Green Berets, those Rangers, and the PJs that were on that plane, on the hill, the pilots, like Spanky, he was one of the pilots of Skinny. When they came in to crash. They don't ever talk about that. Like, he had to crash that bird on the side of a mountain to get in there. And he did it. He didn't give a shit. He's like, watch this. And just brought it in. I mean, there was a gunfight going on from the top and bottom. Every aircraft we had in country was wagging, like spinning overhead. Spectres, that's the hand of God. Or the finger of God. I mean, the weaponry we have, man, they can look down on you and erase you. And they got me out of there. I couldn't believe it. I hadn't thought about that.